Oh, yeah. There we go. You know what you need is like a huge theatrical button for the countdown? Like a big red button, like you're launching the nuclear codes. I always envision Guy and Justin turning the keys at the same time. They both have a key. They have to stand across the room from each other. We're launching the show. Yeah, like Mission Impossible. Everybody, welcome to Vince on a Wednesday. It is great to have you with us, the best audience anywhere. Holy crap, we got a big show for you today. James Comey, for those of you watching live, rumble.com/Vince. As we speak, James Comey is apparently arriving at a courthouse in Alexandria, Virginia for his arraignment. Isn't that great news? We'll cover whatever we learn out of that. Also, we're going to get into whether or not this government shutdown is actually going to yield some firings. The president of the United States has some updates on that. And I've got to tell you all about the person who is the leading candidate. This is shocking to say. The leading candidate for governor right now in California is a raging psychopath with resting Democrat face named Katie Porter. I have to take you through the latest from Katie Porter. And if you are unfamiliar with this witch, I'm going to show you all of the insane spells she's attempted to cast through the years. She's a nut job. You've got to know about Katie Porter. We're going through it today, all on this edition of Vince. It's great to have you with us as always. Hey, I got to thank our great sponsors, Beam's Dream Powder, right up there. Just a wonderful sponsor of this program and a life changer for me. You know, when it comes to the things that each of us can believe in here in this audience, you know this. It's hard work. It's self-reliance. It's showing up for the people who actually count on you. But you see, a while back, I was hitting a wall. I was getting bad sleep. And then when you get bad sleep, it's not good for the next day. Because on the next day, you're running on fumes. That's what I was doing. And I knew I needed something to help me break out of that awful cycle. And that's when I found Beam's Dream Powder. And Beam, it's proudly founded in America and run by people who actually share our values. Hard work, integrity, delivering results. It's a nighttime blend, and it's packed with science-backed ingredients shown to improve sleep so you can wake up feeling refreshed and ready to take on each new day. Dream is made up of a powerful blend of all natural ingredients: reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, melatonin. And here's the deal. Beam is giving you the ultimate Patriot discount of up to 40% off. You can try their best-selling Dream Powder. Get up to 40% off for a limited time. So with my discount code VINCESHOW, no spaces, VINCESHOW, you can get their best-selling Dream Powder for just $39. Go to shopbeam.com/VinceShow. Use the code VinceShow at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/VinceShow. Use the code VinceShow and get up to 40% off. Yes. Katie Porker. You do wonder, was she referred to as Katie Porker throughout much of her life? I don't know. It does seem to make sense, though. She's awful. I'll get into the details on that coming up. First, a short a point of personal privilege. It was great seeing Hayley Caronia yesterday. Great to have her on my program. Great to join her on her program. We did that because she was visiting Washington, D.C. And one of the reasons she was here in town was because we were both going to an event last night to honor the great Sean Spicer. You remember Sean Spicer, of course. As President Trump's first press secretary. He's got his own great show. He's really done it all. He's been featured everywhere, from Saturday Night Live to Dancing with the Stars to, of course, the Trump administration. And importantly, and perhaps most importantly in terms of his many jobs, he is a member of the United States Navy Reserve. And last night, Hayley and I had the privilege of joining him for his promotion to be there as he was promoted to Navy captain. There's a picture of me, for those of you watching rumble.com/Vince, getting a photo with Sean last night. He had an epic receiving line. The person who conducted the promotion last night for Sean was the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, last night, giving great remarks, talking about what a great career Sean Spicer has had, his service to country, and how it continues in that capacity. So that was really nice. And Sean was really funny. He just really, it turns out he's done public speaking before, so he was really good last night. So congratulations again to the Spicer family, to Sean, on his continued service. He doesn't have to do that, by the way. He could have gotten that a long time ago. He's got, I don't know how many years now. It's like truly, I think he's at 26 or 27 years now, and he just got promoted to captain. What do you think kept him from his promotion, say, during the Biden administration? What could that have been? Oh, just pure political animosity directed at Sean Spicer to prevent him from being promoted? Yeah, probably. Anyway, congratulations, Sean, and to all the sailors and military who were there last night. Thank you very much. It was you want to talk about star-studded. You get the Secretary of War out, and then the Chief of Naval Operations, the CNO, was there. A bunch of top military officials. The new Undersecretary of War, I think, is that the way we say it now? Hung Kao was there last night. That was awesome to see him. He's a great American. Glad to see he's. He's with the Navy. He's with the Navy. He's the Undersecretary of the Navy. But he's great, and he was there last night. Just a great group of people. We saw Ronnie Jackson, the Congressman Ronnie Jackson. I got to talk to him for a little bit. I've got a bunch of mutual friends with Ronnie Jackson, including Dan Bongino. Ronnie Jackson, the former White House doctor, now a member of Congress, very close to Dan. We were talking a little bit about that last night. And I will say, by way of just bringing you back something, Ronnie Jackson told me last night that there is no audience he loves more than this audience, than the audience that Dan Bongino has built. The Bongino Army. He loves this audience. And he said to me, he's like, hey, do you mind if I come back on? Can I come back on the show? I'll do it any time for that audience. And I said, brother, you are welcome anytime. So we'll have Ronnie Jackson on back here. So that's the takeaway. Anyway, it was great, and it was a wonderful time. Nice to spend some time with Hayley yesterday, and that's it. That's the personal update. There you go. And yes, RMC Creedy 77 says, I miss Dan. I miss Dan too, and I have a feeling that Dan will be back at some point. And when he comes back, I'm going to be as enthusiastic as anybody else about that. I just can't wait to hear him behind a microphone again. But in the meantime, he's very, very busy. He's busy. In other words, he's not doing this job because he's got a very big job to do at the FBI. We already heard earlier this week that Dan Bongino, in particular, went over to the United States Senate on Monday to brief United States senators about the fact that they were being spied upon by the Biden administration. That's a really important piece of information, and that scandal is of epic proportions. And yesterday there was some testimony by Pam Bondi before the United States Senate. She was asked a lot about this, and she was talking about just how horrible it is that each of these senators and one congressman, Republicans all, were being spied on. But when asked for further detail about the nature of investigations and who's going to be charged and are we going to see people arrested for this, she just said, can't talk about it, can't talk about it, can't talk about it. That's the summary, really, of how that went down yesterday. Now, I will say, as frustrating as it is to not have complete transparency on that issue, that also does make sense. That is true. If the Justice Department is undertaking criminal investigations, rightly so, into Jack Smith and all of the idiots around him who abused their power in order to spy on members of Congress, to abuse their power, well, that's the kind of thing they need to keep under wraps for now as they pursue it. But this audience will tell anybody who wants to listen, and I will continue to say on your behalf that what we need is accountability. And we are getting the beginnings of some of that. That is represented by the events of today. As we speak, the former FBI director, James Comey, is being arraigned at a courthouse in Alexandria, Virginia, for charges of lying to the United States Senate now in 2020. Those charges just coming in before the statute of limitations expired. Clearly the desire of Kash Patel and Dan Bongino to get that done on time. And it took, man, I tell you what, that deep state is over the top with their aggression, including to this very day. It took a lot of outright aggression and efficiency in the United States Department of Justice to free up the Eastern District of Virginia just to get a U.S. attorney in place who would make sure that this went through. Wasn't easy work. They got it done under the wire. And now James Comey appearing before a courthouse this very morning in Virginia for these charges. Now, the question that you've got and that I've had is, here's Parish Places asking it. I love this audience. Jim Comey didn't get a SWAT team breaking into his house. Why? Wonderful. So here we go. This is the thing I wanted to break into. So we saw what happened to people like Peter Navarro. Navarro goes to the airport. He gets put in leg irons. How old is Peter Navarro? Navarro, he seems like a healthy man, but he's an older man. They put him in leg irons. They arrest him at the airport. They try to humiliate him and disrupt him and flip his life upside down. They sent a SWAT team to Roger Stone's house. They put SWAT boats out behind in the canal at his house in Florida, going after him and his elderly wife. A complete nightmare. 6 o'clock in the morning. They've got CNN cameras there. Yeah, that nightmare treatment. It's no wonder that the rest of us, we look at that and go, man, you know what? You want to serve that medicine up to conservatives for no reason, without any underlying predicate, without any actual violation of the law, for just absolute garbage, politicized, invented nonsense? Well, then what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So I'm right there with you. This is what I want too. I want to see these SWAT teams go to these doors. There's no question I've got that instinct, that impulse. But at the same time, I think what we're witnessing right now, as unsatisfying as it might be, is a demonstrated restraint from this Justice Department and from this FBI, perhaps, that's designed to convey a message. You will be held accountable, and we're not going to do it in some theatrical, exceptional, unusual way. You will be treated like every other criminal that we deal with in this capacity with similar charges. We hit you with a charge of lying to Congress, show up to the courthouse. That's your obligation. We're not going to treat you any differently. The pattern on the left is you get treated differently. You a conservative? We will crush you, and we'll do it with CNN cameras. The way the Trump administration's handling things right now is we're going to do things by the book. We're going to do it properly. We're not going to throw a charge at you unless we've done the investigative work to predicate it. And then when we do, we're going to conduct it the right way. This is the strategy that they're using right now. Because unlike the left, they want to adhere to the Constitution and the rule of law. And for evidence of what I'm laying out here, look no further than last night, Todd Blanche, he's at the Justice Department. You know him as the Deputy Attorney General. And Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, they just sat down with Fox and they were asked about this because there's been this theory, this speculation that basically the Trump administration wanted to do some sort of perp walk for James Comey and wanted to embarrass him and drag him through the mud, and there people are being fired over not doing it. And last night, Kash Patel and Todd Blanche cut through all of this, and they go, you know what, the left, they operate in this world of theater. We operate based on the law. Here's what these guys had to say about this last night. Take a look. Here's Kash Patel cut to.
The FBI conducts arrests at every courthouse in this country every single day of the year, including on weekends. And so the fact that there's been a generated leak and story, and really gossip is what it is, about what's going to happen tomorrow, is all that is. There's no way that either Director Patel or I will talk about what's going to happen tomorrow. It's an ongoing criminal case, like thousands of defendants who are charged every year. He has Mr. Comey has been directed to appear, and I expect that he will. But the noise from MSNBC and from retired agents or unnamed anonymous sources about perp walks is just that. It's just noise.
The mainstream media wants to take the eye off the ball and create theater. We're not about theater. We're about producing our results in court. And that's what you're going to see tomorrow start.
Well, it has started, and here's the update for you as this is just coming over the transom here, that breaking news this hour, former FBI Director James Comey has now pled not guilty to federal charges of false statements to Congress and obstructing a congressional proceeding. So it begins. James Comey in a courthouse in Alexandria, Virginia. He's made that appearance for this arraignment. He has pled not guilty to these charges. This thing is headed for a trial. James Comey destined now for a trial. And remember, one more thing, and I started today, we were talking a little bit about, Ronnie Jackson and Dan Bongino and what the FBI is up to. And I want to remind you of a sequence of events here. Earlier this year, remember, within the FBI, Kash and Dan had discovered a trove of documents that had been used to squirrel away various things that had been destined for destruction. And they go through these documents and they discover all sorts of horrifying abuses of power. And they began releasing these documents in many cases directly to Congress through people like James Comer and Chuck Grassley. And then they continued to bring over their findings, including this week, as it relates to that awful operation under Biden called Arctic Frost, where they were spying on all of these United States senators. And the thing that Dan said, remember earlier this year, as he was doing these interviews talking about what they discovered and what's coming, remember the phrasing that he used. He said, nothing we're doing is by mistake. Nothing that we are doing is by mistake. And that included the people that they decided to empower, to put in jobs at the FBI. The people were like, who's that? Why are you giving that guy a job? Isn't that guy one of the bad guys? And then the people that they were decided to fire, they fired hundreds of people this year. It doesn't get any coverage in the media. They've fired hundreds and hundreds of people from the FBI. And then in terms of, presenting this evidence in such a way that they can secure charges. Now, remember, what does the FBI need in order to bring this all the way to the finish line, to put handcuffs on somebody, to get the arraignment, to get the indictment going? We need prosecutors. What does President Trump lack in many cases? Prosecutors. He's getting fights from the Eastern District of Virginia just to bring accountability. This is a massive, massive fight, a lot of which is happening completely out of our sight. Completely out of our sight. Behind closed doors, inside of the United States federal government right now. It's a fist fight in order to bring about accountability. But when we saw earlier this year that there was this drama over, is Dan about to leave the FBI? And what's going on? Is he fighting with Pam Bondi? And is this the moment? He's at home right now with Paula. Is he going back to Washington, D.C.? All the freaking out we saw. Remember all of that? Whatever the underlying truth of that episode, whatever the underlying truth of whatever drama exists in these fights and the fights to get information out and the fights to get people prosecuted, why the hell do you think Dan is still doing that job? Why is he in that gig? Just think about it. Just piece it together the same way I do when I talk to my wife about this. I talk to Allison about this. What do you think Dan is up to right now? You don't think Dan wants to sit right here, or actually in Florida, on his microphone and give you his sense of everything that's going on in the world? Of course he does. Of course he does. There is a reason he's there right now. And I guarantee you that one of the reasons he's there is what you're witnessing this morning. James freaking Comey just pled not guilty to criminal charges in a court of law. Yeah, Dan's got work to do, and that's why he's still there. God bless him for that. God bless anybody who's working to save our country right now. I appreciate that big time. And as always, every night I lift up a prayer for these people that they can win, because I'm rooting for them like crazy. Okay, I've got a lot more ahead for you about the government shutdown, about this insane person, Katie Porter. Man, if resting Democrat face it was in the dictionary, Katie Porter's face would be the definition. That's all ahead right here on this edition of Vince. It is great to have you with me. Let me be blunt, though. Gold is up. Have you seen the headlines on gold? I saw another headline on gold today. Gold is up. It's so crazy how much gold is up. Gold is up around 40% from last year. Not speculation, total reality. And if a portion of your savings is not diversified into gold, well, you've been missing the boat. And here are the reasons. Inflation, thanks to the left, has been insanely high. The U.S. dollar has been, thanks to all the meddling of the Fed, still insanely weak. And the government debt, well, it's insurmountable, it seems like. $37 trillion? Crazy. And this is why many central banks have been flocking to gold. And they're the ones who are driving up the prices here to these record highs. Not too late to buy gold from Birch Gold Group, though. You can get in the door right now. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. You don't pay a dime out of pocket. You just text my name, Vince, to 989898, and you can claim your free info kit. There's no obligation, just useful information. And you see, the best indicator of the future, well, that's the past. And gold, well, yeah, it's been historically a safe haven for millennia. So what else can say that exactly? Text my name, Vince, to 989898 right now to claim your free information kit on gold. That's Vince to 989898. Protect your future today with Birch Gold. Message and data rates apply. Thank you to Birch Gold. Yes, yes, yes. Cuts now. We need cuts now. Yeah, I agree with you, Weremol. I really do. We do need cuts now, which is why I've been paying such close attention and why I've been beating the gigantic timpani drum of cut, 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 cut. Use this government shutdown to cut the government. Please, for the love of God, do that. And yesterday, I'm not sure who this reporter is, but they asked President Trump a question in one of his 10,000 press conferences a week. Hey, what's the deal? Are you going to be cutting the government at all? When are the layoffs coming? What's the plan here? Here's the president of the United States yesterday offering finally a timeline on that question. My basic question is, why not now? Why can't we just do it right now? I want it now. But here's the president giving me some hope that it's coming in the next few days. Here's the president.
Identified programs to eliminate under this shutdown?
Oh, sure.
Which ones?
We have a lot. I'm not going to tell you, but we'll be announcing it pretty soon. But we have a lot of things that we're going to eliminate and permanently eliminate. You know, one of the things that we have is some advantage, you could say. But because of the shutdown, which I think they made a big mistake, we're able to take out billions and billions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse. And they've handed it, on a silver platter. And Russell Vogt, he's a serious person, very serious person, and he's sitting there and he's getting ready to cut things. I'll be able to tell you that in 4 or 5 days if this keeps going on. If this keeps going on, it'll be substantial.
I like how he calls him Russell. You know Russell Vogt. He's great. He's ready to cut. Yes, we know Russell Vogt. He is a great American. And the thing I keep hearing about Russell, is that he's eager. He's eager to make these cuts. It's got to happen. He's been dreaming about it his whole life. Fulfill that man's dreams, please. Unleash Russ. What are we waiting on? So the president says 4 or 5 days. Now, that was yesterday, which means we're now down to 3 or 4 days. And let's do some basic math here. It's Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yahtzee this weekend. Saturday, Sunday. Cuts. Shall we see them? Some cuts, please. Yes, indeed. That would be good. And at the moment, I will give you some words of encouragement on this subject. The Democrats are showing no signs of reopening the government. Now, to be clear, this is a Democrat-fueled government shutdown. The Republicans in the House, the Republicans in the Senate, the Republican in the White House, all of them said, hey, keep the government open. And the Democrats said no. And they stomped their feet and they shut the government. The dispute, of course, has been only merely 7 weeks of government funding. That's it. And the Democrats even refused to do that. So as a result, the troops are not being paid. The air traffic controllers are not being paid. Now we have air traffic controllers who are not showing up to work quite as frequently because they're not being paid. As a result, we're having in our air traffic, the president yesterday referred to this as Democrat delays. So if you have any flights scheduled in the next few weeks, you can thank Democrats for whatever delays ensue in those flights. What a nightmare. And yeah, so it's the Democrats who are to blame. And right now, the way I can tell you with my ear to the ground on the Washington media, there's an attempt right now to say that Republicans have a losing hand. I know. It's hilarious. But that Democrats are now coming out ahead. After a rough start, all of a sudden now Democrats are beginning to win the shutdown fight, which is hilarious to me, but also foreshadowing definitely of the way the media are treating this issue and are going to be treating this issue going into the days ahead. They're pretending like the Democrats are doing something noble here, that they're fighting for health care, that this is what it's really all about. Now, never mind the fact that President Trump has said that the healthcare system is a disaster, and he is waiting for the Democrats to finally approach the table like sane people and work with him to fix it. He's the one who's offering the hand of opportunity here to fix the healthcare system. But don't let these Democrats get away from the core talking point here, the core point about why they shut the government down. They shut it down. It's in their own legislation because they wanted to give taxpayer money to illegal aliens. It is as clear as it could ever be. And they're radicals. That's why they did it. So here's my request of you on social media as this continues, as you engage in the meme wars or you watch this conversation, please rub in their faces over and over and over again that they did this for illegal aliens and not for the rest of us. Please just keep reminding them of that as they claim that, oh, we're finally winning. We're winning the shutdown fight. Yeah, good luck with that. I don't think that this audience is going to let that happen. So thank you. Thank you in advance for helping us out as we point that out. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just so crazy what they're up to. And they're working overtime, obviously, to protect illegal aliens. And this is happening in all across our country. It's certainly happening in places like Portland, Oregon right now, and Chicago, Illinois. I've got good news for you. The Texas National Guard has just arrived in Chicago to help bring order to that city. And I'm going to play a clip for you, but I just want you to understand this. If you're a part of the Texas National Guard, you're serving your state and your country, you're a great American. And I say on behalf of the rest of our country, we are thankful that you chose service to your country. And the President of the United States and the Texas Governor, Greg Abbott, have decided to deploy the Texas National Guard to a great American city, Chicago, in order to restore order to that city. So what you have are great Americans going into a great American city in order to bring a peace. What could be wrong with that? Well, if you're the Illinois governor, Jelly Belly Pritzker, you have words for that. You call it an invasion. Listen to J.B. Pritzker demonize American citizens who are volunteering to serve their country as invaders. Here's J.B. Pritzker, cut 8 yesterday.
Donald Trump is using our service members as political props and as pawns in his illegal effort to militarize our nation's cities. I want to thank Attorney General Kwame Raoul and his staff, along with my general counsel, Ann Spillane, and our excellent governor's office legal team for working tirelessly for weeks now to prepare federal lawsuits in anticipation of this unconstitutional invasion of Illinois by the federal government. The Trump administration is following a playbook: cause chaos, create fear and confusion, make it seem like peaceful protesters are a mob by firing gas pellets and tear gas canisters at them. Why? To create the pretext for invoking the Insurrection Act so that he can send military troops to our city.
An unconstitutional invasion. Now, chat, remind me, please help me out here. When was the last time that Jelly Belly Pritzker used the phrase unconstitutional invasion to describe millions of foreign nationals crossing into our country illegally? When was that? Can anybody check the Wayback Machine on that? Any AI to help us with that? Is there a Google search that'll get me to that result? That never happened. That never happened. J.B. Pritzker, understand what you're hearing. He calls American citizens going into an American city to make it safer an invasion, but he doesn't call millions of illegal alien foreign nationals pouring across our border in order to cause chaos and exploit this system and to be exploited by Democrats. He doesn't call that an invasion. So in case you're wondering, once again, the left is inverting language in order to attack you, to browbeat you into submission, to attack our own country. And so the president of the United States is the right person in this conversation. He's doing the right thing. Great Americans are trying to restore order in a great American city, and J.B. Pritzker is trying to stop it, calling it an invasion, and demonizing those troops, which is the same thing that the left has been doing to ICE. They've been doing it to ICE. Yeah, this morning. Yeah, I'm seeing this headline this morning. The boys just put a headline up for me that Trump called on the mayor and the Illinois governor to be jailed. I haven't seen the clip yet. I'd love to see the clip of Trump saying that. Did he say that on audio? That this happened just before our show started this morning. Trump wants to jail Pritzker. I'm looking it up right now because I'd love to do this. Yeah, President Trump. Oh, he posted it to Truth Social. Oh, well, good. Let me pull up the Truth Social. This is fun. Let's do this. Let's some live news development. Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers. Governor Pritzker also. Okay, so what President Trump is referring to is this past weekend there was a terror attack on ICE officers in Chicago. The ICE officers called the Chicago Police Department for backup, And then the Chicago cops were told by their leadership to stand down, not to respond to the terror attack in the moment of need. So what did the ICE officers have to do? They had to open fire on their assailants. They were left to fend for themselves, and they had to discharge their weapons to defend themselves during that attack. And the president's saying that these guys should be in jail for failing to protect them. Hey, look, if a criminal case can be worked up against these guys for what they did, yes, definitely. Because they could have gotten these people killed through this act. So as high as this goes, whoever issues the order to tell the cops to stand down, not to respond to a terror attack against American law enforcement, yeah, that person should be held accountable. Whatever the consequences are supposed to look like within the confines of the law, impose them, please. And so the president, as angry as the rest of us, of course, you know what that is? So what I just provided to you was all of the context for what the president is expressing. This is like the typical Trump scandal. I give you all of the context just now for what the president is expressing, and I guarantee you, with what little information I already have and the headlines I'm seeing, the media is treating Donald Trump as a tyrant right now for daring to say that people should have consequences imposed when they imperil the lives of law enforcement. I guarantee it. After I'm done this show, I'm going to look at all the headlines, and then I'm going to nod with satisfaction that I nailed that analysis without seeing without seeing all the headlines in front of me. Hilarious. It's just unreal and very predictable. All right, coming up, I've got a lot more to share with you. We're going to talk about, this lady in California, this Katie Porter, is such a psychotic woman. Wait until you see the latest out of her. So fun and scary, all combined. It's all ahead on this edition of Vince. Hey, fall is my favorite time of year. And it's a good time to relax occasionally. Get outside, drop the phone, not be doing anything but just spending time with the family. Maybe light a fire if you can do that in your area. It's great. And after those nonstop summer days, it is nice to slow down. You get some quiet weekends, some football on TV. And then at night, the nights call for a blanket. It is nice to have a good blanket around. And I didn't really think it could get any better. And our bed has been upgraded with a Bowl and Branch bed bundle, which is really cool. It's just one click, boom, instant sanctuary. Sheets, a duvet, even the waffle blanket. Now, I'm telling you right now, this is stuff that I like. I like all this stuff. I love it. I really do. My wife is obsessed with it. Allison loves it. And then each morning she makes the bed and she perfectly lays out the waffle blanket, and then each night pulls it up again, and it is so nice. You're going to love it too. Everything is ridiculously soft. It's made with 100% organic cotton. It's built to last, and the quality you can definitely feel. Thank God Allison's in my life, by the way. I'd have no idea what I'm doing. And she says, no, Bowl and Branch, this is what you need. Thank you, Allison. I used to think that bedding was just bedding. I really did. But this is next level comfort. It's really good. And whether you sleep hot, cold, or somewhere in between, there is a bundle that will fit your style. Plus, you can pick from colors that actually match your room. And I sleep a lot better now, thanks to Bowl and Branch and my wife's wisdom. Bowl and Branch makes upgrading your bed easier than ever with curated bundles for a sanctuary of comfort. For a limited time, get 20% off of bed bundles plus free shipping and returns, all at bowlandbranch.com/Vince. That's Bowl and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/Vince. You'll save up to 20%, and you'll unlock free shipping. Exclusions apply. Thank you to Bowl and Branch for being great. And thank you also to Comet Browser, which is pretty cool. And you saw they've got this great partnership with Rumble, which I love. Let me ask you something really basic. How much time do you spend every day on a web browser? How much time do you spend having to click around online, searching, scrolling, typing, endless tabs? It's a lot. Well, there's a new web browser. It's very, very cool. State of the art. It's called Comet, and it's doing something totally new. Think of Comet as an AI-powered web browser with a built-in personal assistant. It can actually help you do things all across the internet. So instead of doing all of these things yourself, you can ask Comet to help you out. It literally will click through and type and search and scroll like you would to get things done for you in the background. It can shop for you. It can make reservations, book travel, summarize articles or videos, send emails, schedule meetings, a lot to help make your life easier. Time is your most precious commodity. If you can figure out a way to dial it in, get a little bit of extra help, it's great. And you can do that here with Perplexity's new AI web browser. It's called Comet. All you have to do is head to pplx.ai/Vince. pplx.ai/Vince. Let your browser work for you. Plus, right now when you download Comet, you get a month of Rumble Premium for free. That's pplx.ai/Vince. Go now. Take back your time online. Very cool. Thank you to Comet. Great operation. All right, let me see here. I got to talk to you about this Katie Porter character. All right, so here's what we have. This is the big video. Perhaps you've seen this by now, but if you haven't, I want to share it with you. Or if you're listening, you can hear this great audio. Katie Porter is the leading candidate, unfortunately, to be the next governor of California. She's a Democrat. She's an awful human being. And she just sat down with a local interviewer in California who asked her a bunch of really basic questions about, if you were governor, what would you do? How would you appeal to the voters? And how, in particular, would you appeal to the 40% of Trump voters in the state of California? Take a listen to this wild exchange. Here's part one, where she simply asked a very basic question. This is Politics 101. And Katie Porter begins losing her mind on television.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, ma'am?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're saying.
In a general election? Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to venture a guess that most people in this chat have not run for elective office. By the way, our country would be a lot better if you did, so maybe you should think about it. But let me just ask you a really basic question about politics. If somebody asks you, what are you going to do to appeal to voters in the other party? What should your answer be? Should it be, to hell with them, I don't need them? I mean, did you see? So for those of you who don't see the video, she goes, why would I need the Trump voters? I don't even need them to win. She just straight up was like, hell no, who cares what they think? And then she looks at the camera and she starts laughing. There's your sign. That's your message. To hell with the voters is the answer from the person who's running to be the governor of California. The answer to that question is quite obvious. It's just like, look, but how would I need them in order to win? She says, and then she laughs at the camera. Trump voters, I hate them. The answer to that question is obvious, and this is true, by the way, and President Trump has expressed this. Even if you don't vote for me, I'm fighting for you. Even if you don't vote for me, you should know that I'm fighting for you. I hope you will vote for me, but in the end, even if you don't, I'm here to fight for you. That's not what she said. She was like, go F yourself. If you don't vote for me, screw you. I'm not even going to work for it. I'm not even going to spend any time paying lip service to it. And so the reporter does what a reporter's supposed to do. She asks a follow-up. And then Katie Porter loses her mind because she's asked a follow-up. Watch this.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered.
I don't care.
Follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make...
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you.
An unhappy experience? What bubble has this chick lived in? She was asked a follow-up. Notice, by the way, boy, she's out of Democrat Central Casting. She's like out of the Joe Biden school of nonsense here. Notice, by the way, what she's doing. She said, all I want to do is answer the pre-scripted list of questions. You are not to ask me a single follow-up. Nothing different than what I expected. Now, I don't know to what extent they had an agreement worked out about what the questions were going to be. And maybe she had some sort of script in her mind. But imagine living in such a bubble that you can't even answer basic questions. What are you going to do to appeal to voters? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, if I know nothing about a candidate, the first question you ask them is, why should people vote for you? That's it. If you don't have an answer to that question, get the hell out of American politics. That psychopath goes crazy. She's like, I'm done the interview. She's ripping her microphone off. I can't even believe you're asking this. Whoa, she is not ready for prime time. That's the leading candidate, by the way. In polling, that's the leading candidate for California governor. That is scary as hell. And that's not the end of it. Now, you see her trying to navigate these questions like, oh, my gosh, I can't answer questions like, why should people vote for me? Okay, well, let me take you down a little bit on memory lane. For those of you who don't know the Katie Porter saga, oh, man, this chick is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She's insane. Let me give you a couple of examples. Here's one. She went on the Bill Maher show on HBO. And she was seated alongside Piers Morgan. And she decided at one point on the show to insult Riley Gaines. She's like, Riley Gaines, who cares what she thinks? She's like in it for herself. She's just in it for clicks. What? Riley Gaines didn't ask for this. Riley Gaines was a competitive swimmer who had a male join her sport in order to cheat. And she decided to be one of the few brave women to speak out about that subject. She deserves all of our congratulations and gratitude for bringing this issue to the national forefront. What have you done with your life, you idiot? Here's Katie Porter on Bill Maher's show pretending like somehow Riley Gaines is beneath her. Listen to this.
We should be able to have a civil debate. Nobody, including Riley Gaines, who I disagree with strongly, should feel
What do you disagree with, out of interest?
I think that it should be up to sporting bodies to make the decisions about who and how should compete.
What has she said that's actually wrong?
I think that what she has done is try to turn this. We talked about people, using things to kind of get likes and get clicks.
That's not what she's doing.
It's not?
I've got no truck for Riley Gaines personally, but all I've seen her do is stand up for women's rights to fairness and equality.
But
she actually competed against Leah Thomas, and it was obviously unfair. Leah Thomas won one of the races in the NCAA championships by 50 seconds against a bunch of biological females who simply couldn't keep up. That cannot be right. It cannot be fair.
That is something that I think our sporting bodies should be dealing with. And by the way, Riley is speaking up for herself, and that is her prerogative, and I respect her free speech.
I think she's speaking up for pretty much every female athlete in the world.
It's unreal. It's unreal. This chick. Oh, it's up to the sporting bodies. Notice, by the way, the rhetorical trick she pulled in that. She started by being condescending towards Riley Gaines. Oh, she's just in it for clicks. And then when it was clear that Piers Morgan had destroyed her just simply by asking a couple of simple questions of her, follow-ups, then she was like, oh, that's not up to me. That's up to the sporting bodies. She tried to export responsibility for coming up with an opinion on the subject to something else. Oh, it's up to the NCAA. No, sweetheart. You've got to answer this question. Do you think it's right that men cheat in women's sports? And the answer to that is yes, she does. She's okay with it. Because the left is for it. They're enthusiastic about this. They want to deprive women of their rights. And so she cheerleads it. There she is. There she is. An insane person. This continues. Here's another example for you. After Laken Riley was horrifically murdered by a career criminal in Georgia, you of course remember this. The whole country knows about this. That career criminal came in, an illegal alien from Venezuela, over the border during the Biden administration, was brought into the country, goes to New York, and then he was flown at taxpayer expense to Georgia after he'd already committed all sorts of crimes. And then he murders and attempts to sexually assault Laken Riley. The whole country's horrified by this. And normal people reacted to it by going, how do we stop this from happening ever again? Well, Katie Porter's not a normal person. Katie Porter went on television and she said, yeah, Laken Riley's death is bad, but we shouldn't change anything about our immigration policy because of that. Watch this.
Whenever we're dealing with violent crime, there's a sense of outrage, of sadness, and of loss. But I think the important thing to focus on is any one instance shouldn't shape our overall immigration policy.
Yeah, we shouldn't let it change our immigration policy at all. You know, it's just a woman being murdered. Who cares about that? That's not a big deal. That's crazy. By the way, it's the same party that anytime somebody unlawfully uses a gun to hurt other people, they want to disarm law-abiding Americans. They will jump all over one event where somebody does something illegal in order to disarm you. But if an illegal alien is brought into the United States by the federal government and then shepherded down to Georgia and then commits a horrific murder, oh, no, we shouldn't change any public policy based on that. You are evil. You are just evil. Yeah, oh, that's right. The PH Trump saying, yeah, she's truly evil. Yeah, I'm right there with you. And then, well, it's the list continues here. You've got Katie Porter. When inflation was out of control under Joe Biden, prices were going up everywhere, as you know, and we all lived through it. You go to the supermarket, you can't afford anything, thanks to Joe Biden. And so she went on television to talk about inflation, and she had a solution here. She said, you know, with all of this inflation we've got, all of these sky-high prices, the solution to this is people should kill more of their own children. They should abort their kids. This is a great opportunity for a lot more abortions. Now, imagine being so demented that you say that out loud on national television and think that that makes you sound like a decent human being. Here's Katie Porter saying that the way to deal with inflation is a lot more baby death in 2022. Look at this.
The fact that things like inflation can happen and it can become more expensive to feed your kids and to fuel your car is exactly why people need to be able to be in charge of how many mouths they're going to have to feed. So I think the fact that we're seeing this jump in expenses, that we're seeing people having to pay more in the grocery store, pay more at the pump, pay more for housing, is a reason that people are saying, I need to be able to make my own decisions about when and if to start a family.
That is one of the most evil things that any politician has ever uttered this century. On television, casually. Yeah, we just need to kill more babies. That's the solution here. There's too much competition for goods, actually. What we need are fewer people, less demand. And so if you kill off your own children, you'll be doing it in the public interest. Do it for the rest of us. Bring prices down, kill your baby. That's the Katie Porter school of thought. That's evil. That's evil. And she's the leading candidate in California. Now, did we get the other? And then there's this. You're like, hey, Vince, there's no way. Vince, that has to be the most evil thing she's ever said. That has to be the single craziest thing she's ever said. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not. And this is just the stuff she says in public. Can you imagine what this bitch says behind closed doors? Can you imagine? Here's something else she said in public. She said that calling somebody a pedophile is bad because you're just criticizing their sexual orientation. Hello. Here she is, cut 7. Katie Porter. The hits just keep on coming.
This allegation of groomer and pedophile, it is alleging that a person is criminal somehow and engaged in criminal acts merely because of their identity, their sexual orientation, their gender identity.
This, I'm telling you right now, I mean, Jasmine Crockett is insane. We played a lot of clips of Jasmine Crockett. AOC, the Asian of Chaos, she's insane. This lady takes the cake. This lady, she said, repeat what you just said to me, Guy. Pedophiles are not pedophiles because they're Well, say that again? Play it one more time. I want to hear how insane this is.
It is alleging that a person is criminal somehow.
Yes.
It is alleging that a person is criminal somehow and engaged in criminal acts merely because of their identity, their sexual orientation, their gender. This allegation of groomer and pedophile,
Yes.
groomer and pedophile, groomer and pedophile. This allegation of
I think you've made your point, Guy. Thank you. Yeah, pedophile. That they're a criminal. Just this allegation that a pedophile will be a criminal. Yes, a pedophile's a criminal. If you abuse, yes, no, you're totally right about that. Thank you, Guy. Thank you for helping me dwell on that. If you're a pedophile, if you abuse children, you should be shot into the sun. That should be the criminal consequence for your criminal activity. And Katie Porter decided to make excuses for that because she's a bad person who would very badly like to run an entire state, please. I thought Gavin Newsom was terrible. Greasy Gavin. Holy cow. Gavin Newsom looks like Donald Trump compared to that chick. And she, some of her hits are not on video. Some of her craziest moments are, in fact, have been revealed by the people who've worked for her. Look at this. I want to show you something now. This is. Do you know about the mashed potato saga? Justin didn't know about the mashed potato saga, so I wanted to tell him about this. So Katie Porter got divorced, and in the divorce filings from her ex-husband, the justification, what he told the court, is that Katie Porter is a psychopath, and the ways in which she is a psychopath involved her dumping an entire ceramic bowl of steaming hot potatoes, mashed potatoes, on his head. Yes, that's right. Look at the court filing here. In spring of 2006, I made mashed potatoes for dinner. Our oldest child, Luke, was sitting next to me in his high chair as I was getting ready for dinner. Petitioner looked at the potatoes, that's Katie Porter, in the ceramic bowl and yelled at me, "Can't you read the fucking instructions?" She then took the ceramic bowl of steaming hot potatoes and dumped it on my head, burning my scalp. I am concerned for my safety and the safety of our children. Petitioner's behavior has only gotten more unpredictable and unstable, and the outbursts of abuse and anger have increased. Now she is resorting to making false allegations about me. Yeah, somebody said I should interview this guy. Yeah, let's track this guy down. We got to find this guy. He's got to save the world. He has to save the entire West Coast. We have to save the golden state of California. We can't have all of California covered in steaming hot mashed potatoes. Sir, now is your chance. Please, it would be a public service if you would come out and tell this story. But holy cow. So isn't that great? I mean, it makes me think of, so she hates her husband, obviously, and she's like a psychopath. She's dumping steaming hot potatoes on his head. But she's mad that Laken Riley objected to William Thomas stealing honors in competitive swimming. Am I doing the math on this right, fellas? Guy, I dwelled on the right subject, right? That is the right comparison. So she's mad at Laken Riley for standing up for herself against a man who was abusing the sport. But then in her own household, here's how she treats men. She dumps steaming hot potatoes on their head. Yeah. So that's what the documents demonstrate. What else do we have from the divorce documents? Thanksgiving 2011, Hoffman, the husband, said Porter came in as he made Jell-O with the kids and said, quote, "Are you so fucking stupid you can't make Jell-O?" This is in front of the children. How fucking dumb are you? She's screaming at him. November 29, 2011, petitioner screamed at our middle child, Paul. And that day was the day it was decided that she would have a C-section and deliver our daughter, Elizabeth. Paul was about 2.5 years old at the time. A 2.5-year-old child? He was very excited to have a baby sister and was talking to petitioner about it. Oh, she's not yelling at her husband. She's yelling at her 2.5-year-old. She became angry and then stood over Paul and screamed at him, "Get out of my face and leave me alone." Oh, man, this woman she is a psycho. Paul immediately, she does not, dude, I mean, she's all about killing the kids, but if they make it out of the womb, she's going to scream at them. Paul immediately started crying hysterically. She was towering over him and so angry I thought she was going to hurt him. I rushed in to stop it, and she yelled at me, "Why can't you keep them away from me?" Petitioner then struck me in the face. She punched her husband then for trying to protect the kid. So this is terrible. This is really terrible. Anyway, there's a lot here where she has thrown toys, books, and other objects at her own family. That's how she treats them. And then did you see, guys, that she also, this is a couple years ago, during COVID, that she had a staffer who got sick at the same time as she did. And so she blamed the staffer and she fired the staffer. This is real. This is a text message between Katie Porter and the staffer. And she texts, so she gets sick, she gets COVID. She texts the staffer, she goes, "Why didn't you follow office protocol on testing? It's really disappointing." And the staffer responds, "I'm terribly sorry. You're right. I should have done better. Just because I felt okay in the moment doesn't mean that I was." Oh my gosh, this poor person. Well, first of all, don't work for Katie Porter. What was your first sign? But she's like, "Hey, I didn't even know I was sick. I just showed up. Yeah, I didn't do the testing protocol. I got it, but I thought I was perfectly healthy. Like, please, like, don't hassle me over this." Katie Porter responds, "Sasha," the name of the girl is Sasha, "I cannot allow you back in the office, given your failure to follow office policies. Cody will be in touch about having your personal effects shipped or delivered to your home, and will lay out your remote work schedule and responsibilities for your last few weeks." Now scroll down, fellas, because check this out. The response here is from Sasha, from the staffer, is, "I understand. Thank you for the last 2 years and all that I learned. I hate to have disappointed you in this manner. As I know it isn't an excuse, I just found out my friend from the Navy has been murdered, and my head was not in the best place. It's not an excuse, but the reasoning for the lack of forethought. I appreciate everything the office has done for me." So Sasha says, yeah, it is Stockholm Syndrome. But Sasha goes, "Hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I know this isn't the best excuse, but I do have to point out, like, my friend was just murdered. My Navy friend was just murdered. And if you could be merciful at all, I'd appreciate it." And so the response, you ready for this? Here's the response from Katie Porter to that. "Well, you gave me COVID. In 25 months, it took you not following the rules to get me sick. My children have nobody to care for them." Your children, you psychopath. You mean the children that you scream at, that you throw crap at, that you treat like utter garbage, according to your ex-husband, who witnessed you dumping a steaming bowl of mashed potatoes on his head? Everything about this chick screams red flag. Everything. And I'm not talking about just red flag for a relationship with another human being. I mean red flag to be anywhere near a position of power. If California makes this lady the governor of their state, then Lex Luthor's plan to separate California from the United States needs to come to fruition. We need to figure out a way to get the San Andreas Fault to send California somewhere else. The whole thing is so freaking crazy. So here's what I'm doing today. I am, once again, as always, I resort to prayer first. I'm praying for that state. It's a great American state. It's a beautiful state. It gave us Ronald Reagan. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous state to visit. The left is destroying it. Please understand. Please come to the realization that it is bad enough. Stop your downward spiral. Please rescue California from the death spiral. Give us Steve Hilton. Give us somebody who's going to fix that state. Katie Porter is going to be the kill shot for a once great American state. Don't do it. Please, for the love of God. We'll keep covering how crazy she is. Holy cow. Is that, Gee, tell me, that has to be one of the single craziest Democrats we've ever. And like you have to actually water that down. That needs to be watered down, I think. That was too much. Sorry about that. They got my blood pressure up today. Great to have you with us as always. We got another big show for you tomorrow. The aftermath of James Comey's arraignment. Whatever comes out of that today, we'll be covering it. We've got a lot to get to. We've got a big national radio show today. I'm going to be talking spied upon by the United States Justice Department. Joining us on the big radio show today. So stay tuned for that. You can listen on radios nationwide, thevinceshow.com for your local listings. You can also watch us live, rumble.com/Vince. As always, great to have you with us. Up next here on Rumble, Steven Crowder. So I had a